What's up, everybody? This is John E. Basement back here with you in the basement, and we're going to go over the New York Mets' amazing first half to this season and how they're going to hold on for the rest of the season. We're here with Lou Tawks, who's in here today, who is the ultimate Mets fan. Lou Tawks is the ultimate diehard Met fan.
Yes, we are, and we're on time today, guys.
Yep, we are on live. We're doing it. Right when we're going to talk about the great first half of the season, we blew the game today and didn't take advantage of the Braves losing, man, to start that off.
That's a typical Mets fashion.
Isn't that crazy, man? Crazy. I'm like, come on, they're going to hold on. They had the whole great weekend of games, and this is what happened.
They did good. They took 3 out of 4 against the Cubs, which I wish they would have swept them, but they didn't have a hangover against taking 2 or 3 from Atlanta. Usually a team, and the old Mets would have got swept.
We're talking about old Mets, like old Mets meaning like last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fans really have to, really calm down. They were ready to jump ship. We were up, 10.5 games, and now we're only 2.5 games up. But it doesn't feel like the old Mets. We would have went into Atlanta and got swept. I mean, destroyed. And look, we took 2 out of 3. We did great. Even the game that we did lose, we were winning in the 6th inning. I think 2-1 or 2-zip. And we did lose, but we took 2, and I think that was a statement series.
Absolutely, it was. I know, man, because I can't. In this show today, we're going to get into everything from the Orioles and the Mariners, teams like that, to the All-Star game, to everything, man. And right now, we're going to be doing a lot on the Mets. And what I feel that today, as opposed to last year, Uncle Steve, Buck getting rid of Rojas, major moves. Some people would tell me, oh, well, Buck can't make him hit because the Mets offense isn't getting enough hits. He's not there to make him hit. He's there to put the right people in place. No coach in any sport can make someone shoot, take a shot, save a puck.
Or catch the ball. I agree, 100%.
Catch the ball for a touchdown. I never agree with those. So ridiculous, those statements that, well, Buck can't make him hit. He ain't there to make him hit. He's there to put the right people in place that Rojas isn't experienced enough to do. Buck has been around. What did he win, the 1,600th game this year?
Yeah,
just a couple weeks ago, 1,600 games.
That's a milestone there, and he's in the game. People respect him. That was probably the biggest move that we did this offseason was pick him up, because he is a coach that has earned the respect. Especially when you get to the pros, a lot of these players are making so much money that they don't care if they play or they don't play. They don't care. They're getting paid, especially in baseball. It's guaranteed money. We got rid of all the cancers. We got rid of Stroman, which I'm going to find he pitched he pitched good yesterday.
We were all praying he wouldn't. He threw 1 hit, right? He had a 1 hitter through 6, man. And we were all like, oh, it's going to get smashed. But we got Scherzer instead.
Yeah, we got Scherzer. We got Bassett. We got rid of, who else we get rid of? We got rid of Baez. We got rid of dude, we came this close to getting rid of McNeil because of the whole thing of him fighting with Lindor last year.
Because that whole thing with doing this, when you come to New York with Baez, and I'm surprised, McNeil, all this stuff was becoming a problem. But when you're doing this, you don't do that to the fans.
You don't do it here.
You don't do it in Boston. You don't do it in Philly. You don't, because you're not here to, you start doing that to us, we'll hate you for life. I mean, we're just going to be on you no matter what you do that. And I'm surprised Lindor got involved in that too, man. That was a little shocking.
I think Lindor came from a small market team that, no matter if they win or they lose, he was always getting cheered. We always talk about this. We have big superstars that come to New York and they fold like beach chairs, and his first, think about it.
100%.
He had 62 RBIs all of last year. He's already almost to 70 this year. So
he had a rough adjustment. That's why when I said I was surprised he was doing that, it's like, yo, dude, you're here on a huge contract. To be sitting there and doing that to the fans, man, is not the way to go. Just because you and guys and boys and the whole thing, it doesn't fly like that.
It goes back to the manager,
Yep.
I don't think Rojas didn't have the pedigree that Buck has. I don't think, think about it. These guys were fighting in the dugout. He didn't even know they were fighting in the dugout.
Yeah.
You know, I think Buck has his finger on everything. You know, even the younger players that come up, the rookies, you know, they all praise him. Like, hey, you know, even if I'm not in the game, he comes up to me and says, hey, be ready. You never know. We might put you in here. We might put you in there. You know, I think he respects the top player all the way to the bottom player. You know, he's always involved, and they all praise him. And you see how they all mess with him. They pull his shirt, you know, because he doesn't like to be, you know, and they pull his ear and stuff like that. This whole team feels different, you know.
Well, Doug, he has that Joe Torre effect. Remember Joe Torre on the Yankees? He had the same look if they were losing 14-0 or winning 14-0. He just, his expressions never change, man. And he just,
no, they don't.
To me, guys like that, those guys are comfortable. They get it. Sometimes, hey man, it's just one game, and they're still working the right pitches in there, the right players in there. And like we were just talking before we came on about Guillorme. Luis Guillorme is like, he's an intangible that's been incredible for the Mets this season.
And he talks about him. He gives him praise. He'd be like, hey, without this guy, we wouldn't know where we would be. I mean, think about it. The guy's batting. Remember, he started off the season 0 for 24. He shaved his beard.
He looked so weird without it. I know, he did.
You know,
but yeah,
but then after that, he's been batting over 300. He's like we were talking about. He's one of those players that will get the hit. His defense is wow. His defense, his glove. You see how many highlights he had this year? You know, the guy can do it all. Incredible. The guy can do it all. You know, and we got him for cheap. We're not even paying him that much money. You know.
Not at all, man. He's actually been playing better than
a lot of.
I hate to throw Escobar in the Nito and Jakowski in that category, man, because those guys have been horrendous. And Escobar made last week, I think, it was around the time they were playing the Rangers. He hit three games in a row. He hit a home run. He was playing really well, man. But he's still hovering around the 220 area.
Yes, he hit for the cycle. He hit for the cycle.
Yep, he's been struggling a little bit, man. He's like 220, then Nito's 211, I believe. Like the catchers, McCann and Nito. There are some areas that we need help in. McCann and Nito, it's like the same guy hitting up there, except I think Nito's a little bit better defensively, man.
Oh, he's throwing people out from his knees. Oh,
I know. He's a lot better than McCann defensively.
Yes. Oh, wait. And we paid a lot of money for McCann. The thing about Escobar, I'm glad you brought that up because look at yesterday. This is the funny thing, the funny season that he's having. First game, I think he went 0 for 3, a walk or something like that. But his defense won the game yesterday, you know?
That's true.
Davis picked it up, but, you know, he moved all the way to his left, dove, tripped on himself, was able to, you know, get himself up and throw and get the guy out. Then
that play was incredible.
And then, the funny thing is, I'm sorry, I got really bad allergies today. Then the second game, he goes 3 for 4, almost hits for the cycle. And that double play last night to end the game, another defensive play, grabs the ball. Well, he had the mind to be close to the line because no doubles. You know, at the end of the game, you don't want to give up any doubles. If they get one run, fine, game's tied. You know, stop. You know, moved over to the line, grabbed the ball, touched third, and chucked it to first. Great defense. His defense is awesome, but he's not consistent. You know,
he's not consistent. But you brought up that play, and I was like, as great as a play as that was, he was on his knees and crawling, then he whipped that ball over. You almost forget about how great that was. Because at JD, who's hardly ever at first base, that pick was, that was
his fourth game.
Huh?
His fourth game at first.
That's it. I know. And that pick was otherworldly, man. Keith Hernandez wouldn't have done any better. And I'm not going there. But is that like it's like he'd always played there? It's like he's always played there. That was incredible. So when I text you that, you were like, "Yeah, but Escobar." It's like, "Oh, I pretty forgot about that." Like, I just thought that was going to be gone. It was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's once again, Mets fan, calm down. You know,
right.
If I would have told you in the beginning of the season, hey, we're going into the All-Star break, we're going to be 2.5 games up. We're gonna lead the series against Atlanta. Dude, we're destroying the East. I think we only lost like 9 games or 10 games versus the East. And without DeGrom, without Matt Scherzer and McGill, and we have 2.5 games. You're going to tell me that any Mets fan wouldn't have taken that in the beginning of the season? I know I would have.
Scherzer missed 7 weeks. We haven't had DeGrom at all, which I believe is coming back against the Padres July 24th. And
the Yankees.
Taijuan Walker has been money of all the players. He's been money, man. Taijuan Walker, David Peterson's even been pitching well, and they've been finding guys that have been getting this done. Chris Bassett, I have to say, he's kind of been a disappointment, man. I expected like he's our third starter. I expected him to be another number one at 3. I think he 7-6 with a 3-something ERA.
Yeah, but he started off well. He went into a four game losing streak, and he did. I like him. He held himself accountable. He goes, I feel disgusted. He goes, I've never in my career have ever lost 4 games in a row. And then after that, he's been pitching well.
Because he was the ace over with the A's, and I figured, hey, you come in here, you got DeGrom and Scherzer in front of you. I don't know if he felt pressure when Scherzer went down that he's now supposed to be the guy. I don't know if he has a little. I mean, again, it's like you're saying, calm down, Met fans. You can't get too crazy about, okay, the guy's a little bit of fun. We're still in first. Yeah, the Braves went on that amazing run. We're still 2.5 up. We should be 3.5 up. But you know what? The Braves fans are saying the same thing. We could have gained the game, but and they're playing the Nationals, who the Nationals are what they said today. They were 7-36 against the NL East. 7-36. So
and most of them were
the Braves should have beaten them, but they didn't. So
Buck, I'm going to bring Buck again, and this is the reason why.
Bring him every time you want.
We have to praise this man. He goes because this is how much of a fan I am. After the game, I watched the post game. I watched the manager talk, and every time they ask him, "Oh, Scherzer, DeGrom," he says, "You guys are doing a disjustice of all these pitchers that we have put up, and how all these pitchers have been handling the situation." He goes, "Forget about those 2 guys. They're gonna come back and they're gonna be who they are. Let's talk about the pitchers that are pitching now." Look at Diaz. Wow. That dude Diaz is throwing the net. He's doubled the strikeouts of innings pitched. That's unheard of.
To stay on the Buck thing for a minute, we will get back to the 4 All-Stars for the Mets. We're about to get into that, but to go back to Buck.
Should have been 5. But we'll
should have been 5. We're about to get into that. But to go back to Buck for a minute, which we'll probably go back to him 5 other times during this thing. But anyway, that's the difference between Rojas and Buck. We're only picking on Rojas because he was the last manager there. I mean, Buck knows, like, who cares about who cares about that they're not playing right now? Let's talk about the guys that are playing. We already know what they're going to do when they come back. That is an excellent point that Buck made because it shuts everything down. Keep it in perspective. We got to worry about who's on the field, not who's off the field. Like when Cano was over playing with the Braves, what do you say? Oh, he's probably going to get 3 hits against us tonight. And he almost the first hit of the game for the Braves was from Cano. But I mean, who would be missing Cano right now? Nobody, man. He didn't do anything. The Mets are paying him to get hits against us. So that's what happened there. But the All-Stars, McNeil, Marte, Alonso, Diaz.
And it should have been Lindor. Lindor should have been there.
Lindor is on a nasty pace this year right now, and I don't know how he didn't make it. How did he not make it?
Top four in the National League in RBIs. Top 4. We got 2. We got I think Pete Alonso is number 1, and he's number 4.
Pete Alonso,
he's in a different category.
He's just in a different category, man. Pete Alonso, I think he's having such a ridiculous year. This guy has more money every time he comes up. He's the most money guy in New York, and that includes the Yankees, man. He's money. He comes up, he's hitting the grands, he's hitting the 3-run shots. Although, that's due respect to Matt Carpenter on the Yankees right now. It seems that every time he gets up, this guy's whacking 3-run homers, man, like nobody's business,
they picked him
man.
Up for pennies. They picked him up for pennies, Carpenter.
He was going to retire. We're steering off a little bit. We are going to get into the other teams, but I've just had to say because I flipped over to that.
We always do.
That's how we always do. But when I was talking about who's been more money, Matt Carpenter popped my head because when I turned over to the Red Sox Yankee game for a minute, I'm like, this guy just hit another 3-run homer. I didn't know it was the second one. I was like, what? He hit one. I thought they were replaying it from earlier that night. So
that was yesterday. It was yesterday, right? They were him and Judge hit 2 home runs.
Yeah, you get confused because they won 14-1 yesterday and beat them today 13-2. So the Yankees they're on fire, man. Mets. McNeil's another one, right? He almost got thrown off the team. He deserves. What is he hitting? 304 this year? 304.
It's just I think last year he had not intimidated. I think he was a little upset that they gave Lindor so much money that he started trying to swing for the fences. Remember, that messed up his whole game. He was from a guy that was always hitting over 300 to batting like 240, 230 last year. You know, couldn't get on base, was popping up. He turned it around. He's drinking the Kool-Aid. That's what it is. And they all start.
Well, he's playing what he should be doing, right? You are a hit for average guy. You're not a home run hitter, right? Last year, it's like when he would strike out, he was swinging for the fences, man. Like, you know, he wasn't trying for hits. He was trying for homers. You're right. It's unlike him, man. Our other great pickup, Starling Marte, man. Starling Marte, this guy is another one. Money. These are the players that the Mets needed. They didn't even need a lot to change over besides manager. You're changing over with the players, man. You're getting the right players in there.
Well, you know who we have to thank for that, right?
What's that?
You know who we have to thank for that, right? No.
Steve.
Steve Matz.
Steve Matz? Really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So right before Thanksgiving.
Matz? Wow.
Yeah, Steve Matz. Watch, it's a funny story. Look it up. Steve Matz became a free agent. He was a free agent. Uncle Steve told him, hey, you are homegrown. You're from Queens. No matter what they offer you, come back to me and I'm going to match the contract. He ended up going to St. Louis, if I'm not mistaken, and never went and signed the contract, never went back to Uncle Steve. So Uncle Steve went on Twitter and ripped him a new one. He goes, this is the most unprofessional. I've never seen, so much, whatever. And they, Mike Greenberg and a couple of other people were like, oh, that's why you shouldn't, owners shouldn't have Twitter, whatever. And the next day, Black Friday, it was a matter of fact, 2 days later, we get McCann, we get Marte, and we get Bassett. We called it the Black Friday in the Mets. And it's because he got mad that Steve Matz didn't come back.
Right.
So thank you, Matz.
Wow, I see. I had no idea.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know why? Because you're right. Marte, man, this guy.
Oh man, his arm. He just threw somebody else at second base the other day. I forgot who it was, and I mean he can hit. He can hit for average, hit for power. Great glove, great speed. Even Cannon, whatever. I keep mispronouncing his name too.
Mark Canna. Another great pickup. Another great pickup. A lot of people didn't even know who he was. He was a great hitter for the Oakland A's, man. They're dumping out players, and the Mets picked him up. He was a great middle of the order guy. Great middle of the order guy.
I think over 4.5 pitches per at bat.
Yeah.
Okay, that is. You know, he reminds me of your boy. What's his boy? For the Yankees, the one that they got rid of.
Brett Gardner.
Gardner. Exactly.
Brett Gardner. It could be 0-2 for 20 minutes. The guy, Brett Gardner. That guy could foul off 15 pitches. He has 10-minute at bats, man. Other pitchers hated pitching against Brett Gardner, man. If you need a guy on base or a runner moved over, that's the guy you wanted up. Yeah, that guy is impossible to get out. Who's going to wear the other pitcher out? That's what you need. Hitters that are going to wear a pitcher's arm.
They're professional hitters. I mean, and not saying that people in the major leagues are not professional, because they are, but there is levels to hitting. There's levels to everything. I agree. You know who's getting to that level? On Nemo. That dude.
He's really learning how to play that leadoff position, man.
Yeah, because by the time the pitcher finishes with him, there's 12 pitches in. Usually pitchers go 80 pitches, 90 pitches. That's already 20% of their game on that one at bat. Plus, all the other hitters are, in the dugout looking at it, and they're watching. Okay, this is his fastball. This is his fastball. We've seen his fastball 6 times. We've seen his curveball a couple of times. And that dude hustles every single at bat, even if it's an out. Matter of fact, what was it? What game was it? That he hit to the pitcher. Was it against? Matter of fact, was it Atlanta? No, it wasn't Atlanta. It was the Marlins. Excuse me, it was against
Marlins.
The Marlins. Yeah. We were down. Hit.
I just said that. I had no idea.
Keep going. It was the Marlins. No, it was right. I just thought about it too. We said it at the same time. But the reason why the pitcher fumbled is because he knew who was busting it out the box as soon as he hit. As soon as he turned around, he saw he just got scared, But that's because the Mets are playing different baseball. This is not the same Mets, guys. This is a team that at the beginning of the season, every single day was somebody new that got either a base hit, one of the rookies, a Guillermo, Canna, it was Eduardo. It was every day was somebody new, and right now it's still somebody new every day. And I feel great.
You should, man. That's the point. When you think about how resilient this team is, in spite, as we've already said, DeGrom and Scherzer being out, in spite of McCann and Nito not getting hits and Jankowski and Dom Smith really not getting hits. You know, you talk about professional hitters and the bad hitters like Brett Gardner. Everybody, right? Everybody's a professional hitter. Then turn around, look at a guy like Joey Gallo. The guy is, I mean, that guy swings at everything. He only has a career because he's a Golden Glove outfielder. That's the only reason he has a career.
And McGill's hurt too.
Right. McGill is out too. So we're missing
3.
all these guys. I know everybody said, well, Bassett, I think he missed one start because of COVID. That wasn't even a big deal. But the Mets are still in first, resilient. This is a resilient team. They would have started folding already. So, yeah, we are way ahead.
We're missing Cookie Monster.
Oh, man. Amazing.
You know, and I'm going to be honest. John calls me the other day. He's like, oh, man. Carrasco, why? He's always giving up, blah, 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 blah.
Because he does. He has games where the first inning, it's a merry-go-round on the bases, man. It's all or nothing with that guy. What is he? He has a high 4 ERA.
But he's 10-4.
I mean, he has a high 4. I know that, man. But you know what? Out of everybody in the crew, I'm going to take everybody over him. He is a classic fifth starter. That's what I'll say.
It's okay, but he's a great fifth starter. He's an above average.
He's definitely way above average, man. Yeah, but he is your classic fifth starter because there's nobody on the Mets starting rotation. I'm talking, forget Scherzer and DeGrom right now. I'm talking about who is out there. Carrasco's still behind all of them else. He's behind Walker, Bassett. Peterson, I don't know. Peterson's been pitching, huh?
He's pitching better than Bassett.
He is pitching better than Bassett, but it's a big game. Who are you putting out there?
I agree.
That's my point. He's pitching better than Bassett lately. But like I said, the last time you saw him out on the mound against Atlanta, it was like 4-0 before he even sat down. I know he's pitching really well. I'm not going to rip on him too much. But the Mets are playing in spite of a lot of like hitters that aren't hitting. And Dom Smith, he's already been down to the minors, been back up. They do need a DH. I wish the Mets would go out and trade for Nelson Cruz or somebody like that, man. That's a pure DH.
People hate him. I don't know why. But he averages, I guarantee you, look up his stats, 25 plus home runs the last 5-6 years. Look what he did with Tampa last year.
Yeah, and he's on the Nationals. The Mets could use him for a push right now. Nelson Cruz would be a perfect DH on this team. Perfect DH.
Yeah, professional hitter, another professional hitter.
Getting into some of these other teams, like I did flip back and forth a little bit.
Can I say one more thing, John? Can I say one more thing?
We can always flip back and forth.
The only sore spot that we have on our team, and I hate to say it because this man has been consistent, the only consistent relief pitcher we have is Lugo. What happened to him? That man was Lugo. Oh, no, but this year. But if
he's getting shellacked out there, man.
True Mets fans that are watching this video are going to agree with me. The last 4 years, this man, or the last 3 years easily, has been the most consistent. This guy will come in, no matter what it is, 2-3 innings and shut it down. But this year, I'm so flabbergasted. I don't know what's wrong with him. Something has to be wrong with him.
Dude, he's hitting, right, guys hitting balls, the old saying, that haven't even landed yet, man. This guy is getting no doubter home runs, man. I mean, he goes out there, it's like Heath Bell. I mean, Heath Bell, it's like Heath Bell all over again. They bring in Heath Bell. I don't know what the love affair was with Heath Bell, but when he would come in the game, couple guys on, and the next pitch, the outfielders wouldn't even move. They just turned around and see how far it was going. Huh?
Benitez
was better than Bell. Yeah. All I remember about Benitez was, he's closer for the Mets, right? Then he went to when he was on the Orioles, a big fight with the Yankees when he drilled Tino Martinez in the back, drilled him right in the back. And then the Yankees had him as a setup guy for Rivera for a little while.
Yep. I mean, he
actually was there, and then they had Kerry Wood as a setup guy for Mariano.
Yeah.
I do want to get into the Yankees for a minute because there are a lot of Yankee fans out there. There are a lot of Yankee fans. Listen, they can rip on the Mets all they want, and you want to talk about rings and all this stuff. That's fine. That's fine. The Yankees, though, unlike the Mets, we get in there, we go deep into playoffs. If we lose, we lose. The Yankees do not win the World Series this year. It will be the most utter disgrace in their history to be as dominant as they are and not win the World Series.
Well, I feel bad for the Yankee fans. I better prepare for disappointment because we're winning it this year.
We're winning it this year, and I'm preparing for something else too. I looked up a few things on the Yankees, and they don't even have a winning record against the Astros. The Astros are still a thorn in their side, man. The Astros right now are 3-2 in the series against them. They're a thorn in the Yankees' side. Huh?
The Astros are Anaheim when Joe Torre is that's the only team, if I'm not mistaken, that he has a losing record to is the Anaheim. They just couldn't beat Anaheim back in the day.
They always had a problem with the Angels, and whether they had a winning record or not against the A's, those Jeter Yankee teams, for some reason, the West Coast, they were horrendous out there. They always lost to these teams, but the Angels were always a team that beat up on the Yankees. I don't know why. But the Astros, they took it to us too. They took it bad. They gave us a little humbling experience in 4 of those games, man. But the Yankees, they're going to have a problem with Houston. They're going to have a problem. The difference with this team to the teams that won with the Yankees, the reason they haven't even made the World Series, to me, they're missing that play. They are not getting that play. The Jeter Yankees always had that play. They had the right clutch hit. They had the right pitch at the time. They had the right play at the time. They had the small ball plays at the time. This Yankee team does not get those, like that Bernie Williams hit. You know what I mean? That Luis Soho hit.
Oh, Soho, Scott Brocious, Paul O'Neill. I mean, we could even not block, even if he couldn't throw the first base, he still got some clutch hits.
But they don't get that with these teams. They don't get that play. And that's what they've been missing.
Feast or famine with them. Kind of like Atlanta, not to get off topic, but Atlanta's the same way. Atlanta has the most home runs. Atlanta has the most swing at the first pitch. They have the most RBIs. But you saw what Max Scherzer did to them? Oh, you swing at the first pitch all the time? Here, garbage, slider, garbage, cutter, garbage, sinker. He was throwing them, had them off balance. So, like I said, that was a statement win for us. But going back to the Yankees, if you notice the last couple of years, they home runs. But in the playoffs, you're facing better pitching, you're facing better defenses. And back in the 90s to 2000s, even when they won with A-Rod, when they who was the manager, the guy that just got fired, the catcher who was in Philly, what's his name? I keep forgetting his name.
Joe Girardi. Joe
Girardi. Yeah. That team, they used to play small ball, and that's what did it for them. Now, either you're hitting a home run or you're not getting anything.
Well,
and then
you hit home run, a strikeout. And I got to tell you, man, I will give a little bit of a shout out. Who's watching right now is a regular viewer of mine, Rob. He's on here now, and he wants everybody to know the Astros were cheaters, and that's he threw that in there that they were cheaters, and that that the Yankees are damn good right now. He keeps texting, typing that in here, man.
I'm sorry, Rob, but the Yankees were cheaters. They got caught. The Boston Red Sox were cheaters. They got caught. At the end of the day, yes. If you don't hit home runs, they're not scoring. And that's going to be bad when they go into the playoffs.
That is true. And the cheating thing is big because I was big on like the Astros. Yeah, they were big cheaters. And then Alex Cora goes to the Red Sox. He and Beltran were the big ringleaders of that squad. Yes, the Yankees got caught too. They tried to have baseball in the courts, hold back those letters from them cheating in the bullpen phones and relaying messages and the whole nine. The Astros now, though, as Dusty Baker said, he's like, there's like 3 guys left from that team, right? Bregman, Altuve, and I don't remember the other guy on the team right now that's still there because Correa's gone. Yachty, big hitter, but I don't remember. There's only 3 guys left from the team. Anyway, Altuve, Bregman, and somebody else. So, and they're still winning. Now they're really winning. Back then they were the Asterisks. Now they're back to the Astros. The Red Sox, they had the shirts, the Asterisks, the Houston Asterisks. Remember, I was down in Texas for a while, man. They had the Houston Asterisks. And the Astros fans were wearing them. It was like they owned it. I was like, hey, man, they literally had an asterisk. Thought it was kind of funny. But then, these guys, I personally thought, you called the biggest scandal. These guys should have been banned. Is Cora a good manager? Yeah, he knows baseball. He's a good manager. The Red Sox, their pitching has been bad. Their pitching is what's killing them this year. They have the batting order. They have the lineup. They got the bats.
They score. They score, brother. They score.
They score runs. Like I said, I was watching a lot of that Yankee Red, especially when the Mets were playing the Marlins. I got to admit, I watched more of the Red Sox Yankees, man, because it's a bigger matchup.
Oh, no, it's okay. I would too. I did. I'm switching it back and forth.
Yeah, the Red Sox, the Yankees could be up 4 or 5 runs in these games, and the Sox would score. Then the next inning was 5-4. The Yankees were up, 6-3 and then 6-5. But they're pitching. How do you go out if you're Bloom for the Red Sox? How do you go out and sign James Paxton, who's hurt? He still hasn't pitched yet, and Rich Hill. Rich Hill was on the Mets last year. This guy is 100 years old. Why? These are the guys you're getting. And the Sox bullpen is, you can't be in the AL East with that kind of pitching staff. That's why they're only 2 games above the Orioles right now. The batting order, they got the right manager. Corey is an excellent manager, man. The guy knows the game. The cheating stuff, I still have my opinions on. These guys should have been suspended for a lot longer than 1 damn year.
Yeah.
And they're lucky it was the COVID year, what they missed. It's like getting punished when you're growing up for the weekend, and it's a rainy weekend anyway, and nobody was outside to begin with. That's back before internet and phones and all that, where you actually had to go outside to do something. So that's what it seemed like to me. These guys just kind of got a pass. But the Red Sox, to me, have fallen off so much because of the pitching. It's like the Yankees in the 80s had all the bats and they had no pitching, and they never won anything. The Yankees now, I think you're right. I don't think they're going to win the whole thing. It's all or nothing with them. They do not. They miss
the famine.
They don't have the small ball players. The Mets have these small ball players, man. We got a balanced team.
Yeah, we're missing a few pieces, like we said. But imagine we get Soto.
Soto turns down a $440 million.
441, 15 years. I'll tell you this. I've been reading, because I'm not gonna lie. I read, what people, the comments on the pages, and a lot of these Mets fans like, oh, don't give away the system. Batty, Alvarez. That's why they are called prospects. How many prospects do each team have? They have a lot, and how many of them actually make it and become generational players? And I'm going to use the word generational because Soto is a generational player.
They
were comparing him, which I know it's a little bit crazy, to Tony Gwynn. Not saying that he's Tony Gwynn, but the way he approaches the game and the way he bats.
Yeah, that's a
Tony
tall order.
Gwynn is no. Once again,
I know you're saying. I'm saying if he became that's a tall order, man. Yeah,
even if he becomes 80% of Tony Gwynn, that is. Think about it. I think he only had 1 season that he batted under 300. It was crazy.
I remember watching the World Series when the Padres got swept by the Yankees, and when my father got versus Stoll. Even when Mariano was so untouchable, it's like out. Tony Gwynn's up. My father was like, all right, he's going to get a hit, and the next guy's going to get out. It's true. Like Rivera would throw that nasty cutter, boom, got a hit, and boom, got a hit.
He was a generational
He said you can
hitter.
see the stitching on the ball. That's just, you're born with that. He could see the stitching on the ball coming in. That's how it locked in he was.
You can't teach that.
You can't teach that. You can't.
No.
That's why when you're a batter or a hockey goalie, you have this thing that can pick up reflexes just like this. How can you see 100 mile an hour? You see, you have less than 1/10 of a second to see a 90 mile an hour fastball. How you pick it up 100?
And think about it. He said he was able to see the rotation of the ball.
That's insane. Man. So Soto, you got to knock out a lot of teams in this thing. To me, really, it comes down to the Mets, Yankees, Dodgers. I would say Red Sox. The problem with the Red Sox to me recently is if they're going to make moves like that, they would have kept Mookie Betts. That has to be historically one of the dumbest moves ever. And Red Sox, I know Red Sox fans, we have them in our family too.
No,
they wanted to murder the team for getting rid of. How do you get rid of Mookie Betts, man? How do you get rid of him? Why would a team like that turn around and pay Soto the money?
You know what might be even worse than that? Crawford.
Oh, Carl Crawford. What a joke. Well, see, that's the thing. Boston and New York, you got to give them this. If you're a superstar and come here and suck like that, you are going to hear about it. They booed the crap out of him. Him and Pablo Sandoval was the other one that went to the Red Sox. It was complete
but he left. It did well.
Like Kenny Rogers, pitcher. But he came to the Yankees and Mets, sucked, but went to the Rangers.
Don't mention that man to me, please. My heart still hurts.
Not the singer for y'all that never heard of him. Not the singer.
Yeah. Once again, he's 27 years old, right? 27?
Soto's 23.
20. Oh my God, excuse me, 23. So
I think he was 27. No, he's only 23.
I'm gonna ask you a question. This is gonna be a tough one, Johnny.
Oh boy.
If you're the Yankees Are you going to keep Judge, or will you go after Soto?
I'll give you two answers to that. Judge is 30. I'm going to give you the pros and the cons. No one has a stronger arm than Aaron Judge in right field. That guy has a cannon, and it's accurate. The guy is a monster at the plate, which I think they equally are. The one big difference to why I would do it, age, it's 23, Judge is 30. This is why I would trade Judge. And the other big thing, Soto doesn't get hurt. Aaron Judge is almost every year hurt for a while. All right. That's not an easy decision to make, but you got a guy, now you're gaining 7 more years in Soto's age, and you're getting damn near an equal player. The only thing, and this is the same reason that I said the Yankees, I was, happy for them that they did not get Freddie Freeman or Matt Olson. They got Rizzo instead, because Anthony Rizzo last year already proved he could play in New York. He got the big hits. He got the big home runs last year. You don't just, what if Soto walks into Citi Field or the Bronx and doesn't do well? You don't know how he's going to play under pressure. Remember, Giancarlo Stanton didn't do that well with the Yankees at first. He came from the Marlins where, he hit 57 home runs, 45 home runs, whatever it is. And, we lose all the time. When you come here and you're getting booed your second week on the team, you're getting booed in the on-deck circle because you struck out 5 times in a game. Like,
Carlos Beltran.
Beltran's another one that had to
Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson. And you know what's funny? You look up Randy Johnson's numbers, you're like, they weren't that bad. No, yeah, but
you got booed.
You didn't do the big, right? You got booed. You know what?
Look, one thing about New York is,
if Mariano Rivera can get booed in New York, which he did, he got booed anybody.
Once. Yep.
Andy Pettit trashed the fans for that. You can look it up. If you all have never seen it,
I remember he ripped them a new one. He
ripped them a new one because I believe that was the year that Rivera in the beginning of the season blew 2 games in a row to the Red Sox. Blew them both. At the very start of the season, they booed him. And Pettit went on a tirade, which was very unlike him, went on a tirade, ripped, and rightfully so. Like, dude, this guy's gotten 4 or 5 rings. What are you doing? Like, this guy is your closer of the year. At the beginning of the year, he gets blows a couple games, or is it because it's against the Red Sox? That's something you'd expect out of Steinbrenner, not the fans.
Yeah, no, I remember that the thing about the 90s Yankee fans, from 94 on, you guys were spoiled. Come on, think about it. Every single year, you guys were the team to be. Whoever it was, it could have been Matsuki, it could have been Contreras, it could have been El Duque, Jason Giambi, whoever was the big free agent, the boss, because I have to respect that man. The boss was like, go get him. I don't care what it costs.
You gotta respect him, man. He said, I'm putting the best product on the field, and that's not my fault. That's the sport's fault for allowing it. And I'm paying the luxury tax of the other owners, and they're putting it in their pocket. That ain't my fault either. He said, I'm going to die with my boots on, that kind of thing. He got the best players out there, the evil empire. And isn't it kind of funny? That the Mets during all those years were like the second or third highest payroll? No one cared. Why? Because they're in the basement. When the Knicks are the highest payroll, no one cares because they're in the basement. It's when the Yankees lead all the time, everybody hates them. Nobody hates the Dodgers that much, and they're the ones now.
Because the Yankees won championships.
Right. But when you think of the championship teams of the Yankees, let's think about the players they really ran out and bought during those times.
No, they were homegrown.
They were homegrown.
Was homegrown.
Right. And I asked people, what players did they? Cecil Fielder? Okay, Cecil Fielder. They got 90. They got him for what? 96. Okay, he wasn't on that other team. You got Jeter, Posada, Bernie, Mariano. These were your guys. Man. Homegrown guys. Scott Brocious. This is a big pickup. It's a big name. A lot of people don't even know who he was when you mentioned him earlier. Charlie Hayes, big name. Mariano Duncan was the second baseman for the Yankees on that 96 team. Mariano Duncan. How many people know that guy? Nobody.
Oh, look, a lot of people here don't know that I lived in the Bronx since I was 3 years old. The BX, the only borough that has a "the" in front of it. That is Yankee.
He's a Met fan.
And that's a Yankee. That's where the Yankees are from. 165th and the Grand Concourse. So when I tell you I probably went to more Yankee games than I did more Mets games, so now you know where my loyalty is solid. I never switched sides. I had a lot of my friends that were Mets fans that switched to Yankee fans. I grew up in the 80s. That's where the Mets. My grandfather watched the Mets. My father was a big down the middle of my family is split, you know. But I went to a lot of Yankee games because my older sister had season tickets through, you know, she had with her best friend. So I went to a lot of Yankee games. So I probably know more about the Yankees than most fair weather Yankee fans, you know.
The Derek Jeter on fans that are old enough to remember the teams from the 80s, that if they had wild cards back then would have made it. The 85 Yankees, when they had Ricky Henderson and Winfield and Mattingly and Gary Ward and Don Baylor and all these guys, they would have gone a lot further, man.
I'm going to name one guy that most Yankee fans don't even know. Pascual Perez.
Pascual Perez, yep.
Was one of the most animated pitchers that you will ever see. That guy used to throw it and he would jump and okay? I loved him.
And he came from the Expos. Oh, I know.
We have to do a show on the Expos. You know how many players came out?
Oh my gosh, Randy Johnson, Pedro Martinez. Yeah, I know how many players came from them. Huh?
Vladimir Guerrero.
Wasn't Greg Maddux in their farm system?
That I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to say yes or no.
Neither am I. I'm going to jump out that far.
Oh my God, the Expos were.
Yeah, right, but you're saying, right, like, we will do a thing on teams like that. Pascual Perez and his brother ended up pitching longer for the Yankees. Melito Perez, remember him?
Yep.
So these are all the teams that the Yankees had, and poor Don Mattingly comes in 82, the year after the Yankees lost the World Series at 6 to the Dodgers in 81, right? And he goes all the way to 95 when they finally had a playoff. He makes it there. And then when he leaves, the Yankees had to retire because of the back problems, and the Yankees win all these World Series.
Then they go on strike. His last season?
Yep. 94, they went on strike.
Okay, so yeah, that, you know.
There's no World Series, no nothing. The Yankees then, that's when they were really building. That's when they were really rolling. That's when Buck was their manager.
Yeah.
Buck,
See, once
Buck
again,
mentioned,
who?
Buck, that's right. Buck was his manager. Do you know Buck? He was mentioning Don Mattingly when they played the Marlins. He was talking about Mattingly as a player. So this guy here, man,
did he coach in
that's
Seattle?
Probably
if I'm not mistaken.
Huh?
Did Buck coach in Seattle?
No, he never managed.
No, never coached Seattle. Okay, so it was
the Yankees, the Orioles. You're gonna make me remember all his teams. The Diamondbacks.
Oh, Diamondbacks, and he switched that franchise
around also. You know, I call Buck, and this isn't even a shot. Right now in his career, he is like a Marty Schottenheimer of baseball. Incredible coach, and he just hasn't gotten to that World Series, which he will this year. He's going to end that this year. Marty Schottenheimer was always 13, 14 win coach, and he always got stopped by Elway or, you know, better teams out there. Buck Showalter has turned every team. The Orioles, when he had the Orioles, they were more competitive when he was on the hill.
Do you remember? No. Wait, hold on. Let's. When he took over the Orioles, they were the laughingstock of the East. Yeah. Remember, they used to always say Baltimore was holding up the division like this. You know what I'm saying? But he made them respectable. I think. Oh my Lord, Jones. He had the outfielder Jones. He had Machado. He had
Manny Machado was on the Orioles. Yeah, I mean, these were your players, right? Yep.
They just couldn't afford to keep him.
Well, now they have that great center fielder, Cedric Mullins, man. He's one of the best center fielders in the game, man. The guy can play. The problem, but it's a whole other talk show, man. But I'm just saying, it's some of the, I said, it's times there really should be a salary cap because these players that are on these teams aren't going to be on these teams for long. They're going to end up on all the dominant teams because these teams can't afford them. Who's the guy in the Pirates, man, that's killing it right now?
Oh, the not the shortstop, right?
Yeah, the shortstop, O'Neal something.
Paul O'Neal something, because he was named.
He's named after Paul O'Neal, right? It's like Jeter Downs hit a home run or 2-run homer off Cole today. He's named after Derek Jeter.
Yes, both of them were,
right.
That dude was almost like 7 feet tall.
Right. And so you got these players, but these players can't stay on these teams because these teams can't afford them, and that's why these teams.
Wait. I understand what you're saying, but we're going back to the boss. If I'm paying luxury tax and I'm giving revenue sharing, and you got a team that had let's go to Pittsburgh when they had McCutcheon, is it? No, McCutcheon.
Oh, Andrew McCutcheon, yeah.
That, remember, a couple of years they almost.
That was when his prime. He was really good on the Pirates, yeah, and they made the play, yeah.
They did an investigation. Look it up because I promise you I don't know what year it was, but I know for a fact that MLB did an investigation of how these owners were spending the money that they were getting. And the boss was right. He goes, "It's not my fault. I'm paying an extra $100 million in revenue sharing. What are these guys doing? They're not putting the same product on the field. But look at the small market teams. Houston Astros, before they were, who they were. Remember, they had the Killer Bees and all that.
Yeah.
For a long time, they were just in the crapper until the farm system started getting better. Look at the Tampa Bay Rays, which me and you, we live. I still live in Tampa, but you lived in Tampa for a very long time. The year that they had
The Rays
Price,
defy all the odds. Keep going. Yeah, they defy all
Price, Longoria, BJ Upton, Crawford, Pena, Shields, Hellboy. They had no money, but they were beating everybody's behind in the East. They were, the Yankees couldn't beat them. Boston couldn't beat them. My daughter was born on 10. Listen to me. My daughter was born on 10/10/10, right? In the hospital, I had all the doctors in my room, and my daughter's mother was like, "Why is everybody here? Why is everybody here?" Because I had 3 tablets and the TV. I had the games going on, and I think it was Boston versus
Tampa Bay,
the Rays. Yep, and we walked it up on a home run.
Yeah,
yep, they walked it up on a home run. So that's how I remember that day. But it's not the small market teams or it's how they spend their money. It's how the organization takes who they are. Like St. Louis, they don't have. I mean, they have money, but every single year they compete. You know what I'm saying?
St. Louis is a team I'm going to put out. They're going to be a dark horse in that SOTO race. You watch. They went out. They scored Paul Goldschmidt. They scored Arenado. They went hard after Stanton. I mean, they go after players, man. They do. They got the money and they got the team.
Goldie wasn't even on their radar, and they landed them.
Right. They're a team to watch for. They're going to be a dark horse in that SOTO race. You watch, man. You watch. They're that team. And picking up knowing Arenado and Goldschmidt is a huge land.
Arenado, the third baseman, he's a monster.
Yeah. He's a huge. That was a huge pickup, man.
They were like, and once again, not on their radar. Oh, his numbers are inflated because he's in Colorado. Look what he's doing now. Like, what's their excuse? What's your excuse now? He's a monster.
It's true, man. The SOTO sweepstakes is going to be interesting. The Dodgers, I think they're going to be huge in that race. The Yankees are always going to. But it's funny with the Yankees with me when it goes after these big name players. They didn't go after Correa. They haven't gone after guys like this lately, man. It doesn't seem like that. They got Falefa for shortstop. Guy's not Carlos Correa, man. But they might be holding on to players. They might be holding on to some players so they can make a great trade for SOTO, because I don't think they would give up Aaron Judge in that package. But Gleyber Torres, I'm sure they would beg someone to take Gallo off their hands. But
But maybe that's the reason why they wasn't going all in on Aaron Judge. Maybe that's why it was an $8 million difference between the first contract, if I'm not mistaken. They went into
try to trade Chapman in there too, because Clay Holmes has been shutting it down for them closing. Chapman's been struggling, man.
Chapman's been struggling for the last 2 years, actually.
He has. He's been struggling a lot, man. A team like the Nationals might take him.
He hasn't been the same since they ripped his whole face off when he got hit in the forehead. I don't know if you remember that.
That was when he was on the. That was like when he first came the Reds. When he first came back over from the Cubs, when he came back after the World Series, right? It was like a year or two after that. Yeah.
Think about it. He's never been the same since they had to cut his ear to ear and rip his face off to fix the dent. That changes a person. I don't care what anybody says. When I'm not a doctor, I just play one on TV. But usually they say if you get cut open, your body's never the same. Whatever the case might be. But he hasn't been the same.
No, he hasn't.
So that might be a reason why they didn't give Aaron Judge that extra $8 million or didn't do this or that, because they want to go after that. Once again, generational talent. I'll give up my whole entire farm system for him. Come on, Uncle Steve, hear me out.
Again, it's just a matter of can he play in the pressure of a New York area-based team, because the pressure is real. The media is real. Why did KD and Kyrie, we're not going to turn to basketball, but not so much Kyrie, but why did KD
you're right.
the Nets over the Knicks? Because you're more forgivable. You're more forgivable if you go to the Jets instead of the Giants. You're more forgiven if you go to the Mets instead of the Yankees. There's pressure, but it's not the pressure.
But he plays in the National League East, that plays in New York, that plays in Philly. You know what I'm saying? So
he
gets the media. He gets the fans booing him and screaming at him, and he still produces, man. That dude is a model. Oh, look. people were like, "Oh, don't give up Alvarez." Alvarez was killing one of the catcher that we have, one of our top prospects. I think he's number 2 in our organization. In Double-A, yo, dude, he was killing it. He had like 17 home runs in like 9 or 10 games. But now he's in Triple-A. He's not doing the same thing. Why? He's going against better pitching, people that are much more superior than Double-A. Take him, take Batty, take Dom, take J.D. Davis, take who else? Everybody, take them all. Take them all. Take them all, John. Take them all.
Yeah, we'll offer you Jankowski, Nito, McCann. We'll offer you everybody that's hitting below 211. You can have them all, and we'll throw in Lugo too. All right. Yeah, I'm sure they would reject that in a heartbeat, man.
But I'll tell you this: the difference between us and every other team, and this is what a lot of people still don't get it through their thick skull, is that we have the richest owner in sports.
He's the new Steinbrenner. He's a new Steinbrenner.
In sports, he has more money than anybody in FIFA. FIFA is always, they pay money for their players.
Sure.
He has more money than anybody. He lived in Queens. His wife is a Puerto Rican. Lived in Queens. They're fans. You know what I'm saying?
He's a fan of the team, and that's the base. He went against the Wilpons' plan of ruining the Mets forever, not going after these. Half these guys wouldn't even be on the Mets if the Wilpons were still running the team. Steve Cohen, the big thing is he's a fan of the team, and he's got the bucks, man, and he's got the business sense as well. I can tell you, he is George Steinbrenner, man. He's the new Steinbrenner. Because Steinbrenner, everybody that hated him, and the Met fans, there are Met fans that hated Steinbrenner. Oh, he buys all his players. Yeah, well, you know what? Those same Met fans right now are loving Uncle Steve. Why? Because he's getting the players.
I'm one of them, John. I'm one of them.
Right.
I am one of them. Look. One thing you're gonna know about me in this podcast or channel. I speak the truth. I will tell you when I'm wrong. I will tell you when I'm right. And I was one
do
of them.
that on the phone when we talk. I know.
I'm just the Yankees did buy everybody. Look, it feels good that we can do it now. You know what I'm saying? So look, I'm eating my words.
Man. Of course. It's like the people that hate LeBron. You know what? They'll love him if they're on his team. If they're on their team bringing a ring, they love it.
I'm still a little bit scarred that you whipped my ass in that LeBron debate, but saying yes, you're right.
That's why I'm bringing it up. But you know what I'm saying? A lot of people that hate something that's going on. They're going to love him when you're on. Everybody hates Tom Brady. You're going to love him when he's your quarterback. All of a sudden, he's not that bad. Of course not, because he's on your team. I do want to give some honorable mention. I'm just switching gears for a minute. Did I cut you off?
No.
I'm switching gears for a minute. And to give some shout outs to what's that?
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
We're going to talk about some surprising teams that are coming around, but I do want to give a shout out to the Texas Rangers. Got to give a shout out to the Rangers for paying $556 million combined for Seager, Cmon, and John Gray, and none of them made the All-Star team. But Perez, who they paid one year, $1.5 million, he's representing the Rangers in the All-Star game. Isn't that great? $556 million for Corey Seager and John Gray and Cmon, man, and none of them are in the All-Star game. Isn't that great? I love it.
You know why I hate the All-Star game? I'm gonna tell you why I hate the All-Star game. Tatis Jr. has not played a game, has not played one game, and he had more votes than Lindor.
I know.
Come on, this is a popularity contest. At the end of the day, hey, it's the fans. They want to make it a fan thing. But if the man has not played one game and my man has been out there every day, ups and downs, top 5 in RBIs, and he didn't make it, come on, man. There's a problem there.
And there's people that don't understand historical baseball, like that hate on Cabrera and Pujols. Like, no, they have to go. These are legends of the game. They're going. Yeah, they have to be there. They automatically are there. That's it. You hate it, love it, whatever. They deserve to be there. These guys aren't going to be around, so they deserve to be there.
Miggy was the last Triple Crown, right? If I'm not mistaken, he won the Triple Crown.
Last one.
And before him, what was it? Almost 30-something years, 40-something years since the last Triple Crown winner.
At least that.
Yes, Pujols is another one.
At least that. So yeah, they deserve to be there, man. And the other teams that are shocking the world right now, the Mariners, the Orioles.
No. Let's go back to the Mariners. Hold on. Yep. Let's go back to the Mariners. They spent a lot of money this year. And Chris, I love to listen to Chris Russo, the Mad Dog. I remember when the Mets were 10.5 games up, he was like, the Mariners, forget them. He's very animated. wonderful dude, very knowledgeable. I would never take a shot at that man. I can't even hold his jock strap. Let's be real. But he was one of the first persons that say, "Oh, forget about them. They're done. Put a fork in them. They're not going nowhere." They just won 14 in a row. 14. You know how hard that is?
I know. What
They
did
only
the
two and a half
Braves
games
won?
back.
Did they won 14? I don't even think the Braves won 14. Where they won 13?
I don't
in a
know,
row?
but I can't stand the Braves. I'm
not even trying to give them accolades. I'm just trying to think who else did that this year. And I think they were the closest ones.
It's tough to win 14 in a row, and they bounce back. You know, they're riding the ship. You had teams like Toronto that
they're a disappointment.
They just fired Charlie. That's not even his fault. You know what I'm saying?
Toronto's weird, man, because they were predicted to win the AL East, which isn't easy to do with all the teams that are in there.
I don't know who was smoking that said that prediction, but anyway, but go ahead.
Yeah, they're the team that always seems to never be. They never finish first, but they never finish last. You know, they're always just Toronto. It's either Yankees, Boston, Toronto, or Rays, Yankees, whatever order you want to put the other three in. Toronto's always third place. It's very strange how it happens to them because they have a great batting order, man. Vladimir Guerrero, Bo Bichette, these guys are getting hit.
Bo Bichette. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I got an inside scoop. One of my really, really close friends was their chef. You know, so when this was like 2-3 years ago, and he was telling me, he's like, oh, you know, Bubba, you know, the catcher, I forgot his name. He had a broken leg 3 years ago, so he didn't really get to start. And he told me, he's like, yo, Lou, these guys are for real. You know, he's a Yankee fan, big time Yankee fan. He was like, he was cooking for them. He's like, yo, dude, these dudes are going to be the thing the next couple of years. And look, he called it because last year they killed it, but this year, like, what happened?
I don't know. I have no idea. I never know how to figure out that team because they're no pushover team, and they just can't seem to get over the hump, man. And then, of course, you got to say right now, the AL East, Baltimore Orioles, they've won 10 out of 11. All the teams are above 500. All of them. Yeah. The Orioles are making a run. They're only 2 games behind the Red Sox to get out of last place.
The wild card, let's be real, it's the wild card. The Yankees ran with that division. There's only 2 divisions that are really open, or 3 divisions. Because LA.
I'm just giving them credit, man. I'm just propping them up.
I agree. No, I got you.
Because we never talk about Baltimore. They're always dead last. They're the clown show of the baseball, and I'm kind of happy that to see some of these teams picking it up, man. So you know what? They're
one of the best ballparks. One of the best ballparks in history. Right. Camden Yards is beautiful. I've been there a couple of times.
But you're right. A lot of these divisions are already over.
Yeah, they're wrapped up. You know, they're wrapped up.
The Houston's up by what, 10? They're up by a lot. The Yankees are up by a lot.
LA.
LA is up by a lot, right? I think they're 9 games up on the Padres right now. So you really only have a couple of divisions that there's going to be a race. The Braves and Mets are going to fight to the end. The Phillies, I don't think the Phillies are coming around at all. They're going to be fighting for the wild card more than the division. They're only 9 games out, though.
The Phillies, one of those teams that can give the Mets a bump in the road, can give Atlanta a bump in the road. You know that. You know, even the Marlins can give us a bump in the road. You know.
Why that happens, I think the Marlins are 3-6 again. I think they're 50-50 right now. I think they're 3-6 against the Mets. They always seem to give them a problem, man, and I don't get it.
They always say that before Buffalo was Buffalo, because the Buffalo Mafia. Shout out to them because I know they follow you and they love you.
Oh, the Bills Mafia, yeah, I have a lot of followers. Bills Mafia. And the reason why we have the connection with me personally as a connection with the Bills Mafia is because the Bills and the Jets have been their asses kicked up and down the field by the Patriots for 20 years. Both of our teams have done nothing. They were actually worse than the Jets over the last 20 years, if that's possible. We've gone to championship games twice. The Bills hadn't made the playoffs from 99 to 2017. If you're a Bills Mafia watching now, you can correct me, but I believe it's 2017.
John, give a shout out to your boy. The one that you went on his show that you made me listen to.
Oh, Miller Time Sports Show podcast. Listen to it. Daniel, we're going to have him on here when we do football. Bills King Mafia.
Great interview.
Yep. I've been on his show twice. Name's Daniel. It's Miller Time Sports Show podcast. Listen to him. He's a diehard Bills fan. As a matter of fact, I'm going to Buffalo Bills Jets game with him in November at MetLife Stadium, man. We're going to hook up for that game, man. So that's going to be real fun. He's a great dude. We're actually going to have him on here Once I figure out how to get the third person on here as well, because I am a tech dummy, so I got to rely on family members. I don't even know how we're pulling this off right now. But yes, Daniel's going to be on here with us.
That was a great interview you had that you made me listen to. Awesome dude, very knowledgeable. So that's why I told you to give him a shout out.
But big time.
Anytime the Bills, the Jets, and the Patriots, even when the Patriots were running, the show, you throw the record away because they know you, they seen you, they know what they do. Even if you beat them, they're still gonna give you a fight. Same thing with the Mets. Last couple of years, we can't beat the Marlins. That's our Achilles heel.
Go ahead.
Dude, I remember one year I took my boy Stanley Chino to New York for his first time. We went to the second or third to last game. Johan Santana pitched a complete game shutout. And then the next game, we just needed to beat them one time. Just one game we needed to beat to make the playoffs. I think that was the year that we had the worst collapse. And they beat us the last game.
Yeah, well, hey, man, that's how it works. We fired Rex Ryan, and he beat us when we were at 10-6. And the last game kept us out of the playoffs. That's just the way it works, man. That's what we always say. New York teams, right? We always say it. New York teams, man. What won't happen to others happens to us. We do the dumbest. I know other teams have teams that are horrendously bad, but our teams do things when they least expect it, when it shouldn't happen, and these things happen. They happen.
But
we can have a whole show on that alone.
Going back to that real quick, because I'm turning my hat around. Like, was it Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone when he was arm wrestling?
Arm wrestling.
Over the Top. It was Over the Top. Yeah, it was Over the Top.
Oh, anyway. Where are you going with this? Bring up that movie. Go ahead.
I got you. Hold on. So, once again, Mets fans, calm down. The old Mets remember, 10.5 games. Atlanta went on a ridiculous. You have to give them respect. They went on a ridiculous run, and people forget that they won the World Series without Azuma and Akura Jr.
Right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Top two, one of the top two, top three, top four players. So I gotta give credit where credit is due.
Plus, the Mets went 13-12 in June, so they barely hung on above 500.
Yeah,
and the Braves struck it. They struck it hot when the Mets were sucking. I mean, not sucking, but 13-12 is they barely had head above water in June, man. That's what happened. But we're still up. We're still up, and we took 2 out of 3. We showed them. Hey, man.
Once again, that's what I was going to, John.
That's the difference.
That's what I was going to. The old Mets, the Mets of last year, the Mets of the last since 2015, we would have went there and we would have got our behinds kicked. Yep. We would have went in 2.5. We would have came back 1.5 down. We went into Atlanta. Max Scherzer destroyed them the first game. We lost the second game. We blew them out the third game. We hit more home runs than they do because that's what they're known for. But that was a statement series. Hey, we're not those old people. You're not going to run over. We have Scherzer, Mad Max, went in there and demolished them. We took 2 out of 3. I'm happy with that. We should have swept them, but anyway. But the old Mets, we would have got swept. We would have just crumbled. That's who we are. That's our characteristic. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, that's our characteristic. We would have got destroyed.
Oh, the Mets would have been 6 games out by now.
Oh no, and then we would have went and then on top of that, then after we won 2 out of 3, we went to the last place Cubs, and usually we would have had a hangover. Most teams will have a hangover after facing a good series, and then got swept or got all those 2 out of 3. Even if we should have won this game, the last game, but we went. We took
3 out of 4. Won 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4.
Once again, like I told you in the beginning, tell me as a Mets fan, no Scherzer, no DeGrom, no Matt Scherzer for 7 weeks, no DeGrom, McGill getting hurt, McCann being hurt, most people getting hurt, and you're gonna tell me going into the All-Star break we're up by 2.5 games? I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it. That's the good way to end this whole thing, man, is reminding everybody where we stand, where we are, and the Mets, you take it. You just take it. And 3 out of 4, okay, we should have won game 4. But you know what? It's hard to sweep a 4-game series, man. So we took 3 out of 4. The Mets have been on fire. They're holding pace. The Braves are not going to take over this time. Why? We already said the intangibles. We got the right management in place.
But they're not going away. But
they're not going away either.
John.
If the Gron's moved back July
going
24th, they're not going away. But now we're going to be at full strength. We're going to have all our guns in place. So it's going to be awesome, man. And yes, the pitchers did carry the team. So
real quick. The way our pitching staff has gone, adding Matt Scherzer and DeGrom coming back, because, you know, this is kind of, you know, say, oh, the deadline, the trading deadline. We're getting DeGrom back. That's like making a big trade. You know what I'm saying? Even if he hasn't played all year. That's like making a big trade.
He hasn't played in a calendar year.
So think about this. You got DeGrom, Max, Bassett, Cookie Monster, and Bassett. That's 5. And not even talking about McGill because he's still hurt. That's 6. You know, Cookie Monster. Yeah. So we have
Bassett plays. But yeah, I got you.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Who wants to face in the playoffs?
Huh?
Who wants to face us in the playoffs with those 5 or 6?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. In our bullpen again, it's like the old Yankees getting. I'm not comparing Diaz or anybody else to Mariano Rivera, but it's that mentality. You don't want it to get to there because then it's over.
And Diaz.
That's what I'm saying. You don't want it to get it to Diaz. You don't want to get it.
We spoke about Diaz. That man is lights out. Lights out. Yo, he has his fastball hitting 100. I think he has like a split finger or something. I forgot what slider. His slider. His slider is nasty. It looks like it's coming and then it just breaks. Boom.
But it breaks like way off. That's the type of thing. Only pure professionals may hold back like a Brett Gardner. Like you have to be that professional to not swing at that. You know what I mean? That guy may be one of the few that wouldn't. But yeah, Diaz is that money, man. This has been.
We got the Yankees coming up after the Padres.
I know. I'm ready. This is going to be exciting.
But once again, Mets fan, we do have 12 games left with Atlanta. 12
That's
games
really
left
what's
with
more
Atlanta.
important. The Yankees is going to be a preview.
Yeah. See, the Yankees is the appetizer. You know what I'm saying? You know, who's the king of New York? I know a lot of people might not be from New York, but when you're in New York, we were the stepchildren. We've always been the stepchildren. Even when we went in 2000 and lost to the Yankees, we were the stepchildren.
But had they won that, the rings and all that wouldn't have mattered because you won that. The one time they met, they would have won it. It'd have been a bigger deal.
Timo Perez, he killed it for us.
I know when Piazza hit that shot that got caught, that ended it. Oh, everybody thought that was a home run, man. Remember that? Oh, man.
And what happened with Timo? What did Timo Perez do?
Oh, Timo Perez killed that. Yeah.
He was like J.R. Smith with the Cavaliers when he got the rebound and didn't know what to do.
Didn't know what to do, right? He didn't know what to do. He froze.
John, I'm not saying that we would have won that World Series in 2000, but
I know,
that would have changed
that game. Oh yeah, that would have changed the outcome of that game. Just like the J.R. Smith thing, they would have won that game 1. They would have won it. Maybe not series.
Good comparison. Good comparison.
Right. It was a great comparison. I mean, think of the pitching matchups you had. The 2 guys that you won out there in a big game, Leiter versus Pettit, Al Leiter, Pettit. These guys were better than your flamethrowers. These guys were real pitchers. They brought it. They threw they're pitchers, not throwers. That's the difference. I would have rather had Andy Pettit out there than Roger Clemens in a must-win game. Why? Because Pettit did it. He never had a losing record with the Yankees, not one season. The guy was money on the mound, and that guy knew how to pitch a big game. When the Mets put up Al Leiter against Andy Pettit, it was like, wow, because these guys were strategists, if that's the word. You know what I mean?
Right. And unstoppable object and an unmovable object, they collide. Right. That was it right there.
Right.
That's not saying that we would have won, but that could have changed the whole outcome of the whole series.
That's why people think I'm crazy when I said if you really needed that hit. I'm talking about better player or better home run hitter. If you really needed that hit, you'd rather have Gardner up than Aaron Judge. He's not going to strike out.
Oh, 100%.
That's what I'm saying. And there's no knock on Judge.
Roche is over him. No. Judge is awesome. And not for nothing, he's clutch. But yes, Gardner is that dude that will fight every pitch off, curveball, slide it. You can throw your 2 best pitches 6 times, he'll foul them off. And then on the 11th or 12th pitch, he'll get a little dribble over the little pop up. Yes.
Right. And he won't pitch it. He won't swing at things that are this much off the freaking play. I mean, this much off. He doesn't swing what everybody else does. So that's what I mean when I say that. People jumped all over me when I said that one. Oh, they're going to be. I said, I would never say it. I'd say it in the city. You don't watch baseball then if you don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Those are, you took the words out of my mouth. Those are people that are fair weather fans or people that don't watch every single game because Gardner was people hate to pitch against that man.
Remember when the Yankees played the Field of Dreams game? The closer for the White Sox, Hendrickson. They said this big batting order, man. Who's the guy, if you come in to close, who's the guy you don't want to see up? He said Brett Gardner. They were like, really? He said, yeah, Brett Gardner, man. The guy fouls off everything. You can have him at 0-2, and 20 minutes later, he's still up. That's just the way it is, man, with that guy. Where's your arm out?
You know who he reminds me of? John Olerud.
John Olerud, yeah, with the Mariners, the Mets, the Yankees. He's been around, but he was great with the Mets.
He could foul everything off. It doesn't matter what you threw at him. It was foul. And next thing you know, he had a little dribbler going, boop, or just a little blooper over the second baseman or the third baseman.
The Mets infield then, what was it? Ventura, Ray Ordonez, Alfonso, and Olerud. That was an incredible infield, man. That was an amazing infield.
Ray Ordonez was, and I'll sit here and tell you this. I don't care who are the biggest Derek Jeter fans. He had a better glove than him. Was he a better hitter? Hell no. He couldn't even hit over 200.
That's not it's night and day.
No. He couldn't hit over 200, but when we were talking about gloves, that man's highlight reel is amazing. Go look up I'm sorry, go look up the play. I forgot, I think it was against Atlanta, bases loaded, no outs or 2 outs. He jumped over Greinke or Grelsky. I forgot and he dove over the outfielder to catch oh man. I just put it up on Facebook, but Ordonez, nobody had a better glove than that man.
Oh yeah, well when you talk about Jeter's glove, I mean at the time, Alex Rodriguez was the greatest shortstop in the game, and it wasn't close with anybody. I mean, that was it. He was the greatest shortstop.
All around.
All around.
But not the better defense, because I even
No. I'm talking about at the time, the greatest shortstop in the game wasn't even considered Derek Jeter. But when it came to clutch hits, and I take Jeter over anybody when it came to all that. I mean, that guy is money.
John, I'm gonna say this about that man, about the captain.
I got his jersey. Well,
I'm gonna say this about the captain, because remember, I lived in the Bronx, so I've seen every single game and the greatest play that I've ever seen in my life. If I'm not mistaken, I might be a little bit off, but don't quote me on this. They were going against Oakland. I think they were down 2-1. Somebody hit a shot. This man was supposed to be the cutoff man, went on the other side because he saw the pitch or the throw being thrown, threw it back on some real, you can't see it, but he threw it back, and they got the guy out at home plate.
It was Jeremy, not Jason. Go ahead.
His brother, Jeremy
Giambi. He killed himself.
Put him at home plate. He killed himself, yeah, he did. Rest his soul, He
was the one that got thrown out at home. I didn't know he did. Someone told me that recently. I didn't even know that.
I told you. I do a little. Pay attention a little bit.
I'm not smiling at the situation. I'm just.
No. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, no. But that was the greatest defensive play that I've ever seen in my life. Not only the game, the situation, the outcome, them being down 2-1 or whatever it was. 'Cause I think that's when they had 3-game series.
There was a best of 5. It was the best of 5. Yep, they were down 2-1.
The captain's IQ, top notch, and not only did he never got in trouble. So that was
the intangibles.
That was crazy, but
they're the intangibles that you don't have a statistic for, man. That's the difference when people don't want to knock Jeter, they're insane. You're insane knocking Jeter.
No,
you can't
understand this though. For all the Derek Jeter haters. Not only did he had the greatest stable in dating. Okay, when you left his house or his condo, they gave you a gift basket. Okay. Oh, look that up, Johnny. Look that up. They gave you a gift basket.
Look it up. Zach Wilson might be challenging that soon, though.
Leonardo DiCaprio. But anyway,
soccer moms.
I
won't start on Zach now, but that's.
Oh man, I lost my. Do you know what he did on his last at bat? Derek Jeter
hit a home run.
No.
Strong. I don't know.
They were down. No, they were down.
Didn't he? Yeah, he got a game-winning RBI. Yeah, I thought it was a home run.
Yankee Stadium. No, it wasn't a home run. He got the game-winning hit in the last. Like that's a movie. That's a story. That's a storybook ending.
Right.
You know, come on, think about it. He won about 5, 6 championships. But his last at bat, and I'm looking at my friend Doughboy. He's gonna come on the show one day, and I'm like, yo, he's gonna.
Oh,
get
he
a
is.
hit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I said, yo, he's gonna get a hit. This it's gonna end like this. This is gonna end like this.
I'll give you one. Yeah. Guys like Jeter and Jordan don't miss those clutch shots, right? There you go.
They don't. They don't.
That's what I mean. They have a money situation, and they're not gonna miss. They're just not gonna miss.
They thrive. They live on situations like that, and some people crumble, like Tony Romo. Sorry.
One of the greatest regular season quarterbacks ever.
Yeah. No. His stats are crazy, but falls like a badge. Yeah. But anyway, going back, we're gonna end it like this. The Mets fans, please take a step back, take a deep breath. If I was to tell you that we were missing all these players and we were gonna be 2.5 games back going in, and even some of the plays that we picked up weren't doing good, and we're 2.5, I'm good.
We're good. We're good because we have the right manager in place. We have the right team in place.
And a great owner.
And a great owner. And we've been winning. We've been winning with a lot of with the DeGrom being out and some of our guys just not hitting. I mean, we've been resilient. They've been resilient. It's not right. The Met fans that complain we don't get enough hits in some games are right. We don't. There's games that we just can't score a run. We can't get someone past second. We can't because some of these guys are hitting below 211. But you're right. The Mets, to me, all right, just a couple predictions and then we're going to end it.
Okay.
Are the Mets going to the World Series?
Yes. Not because I'm a Mets fan.
Well, I know that. We're going to be biased.
They're going to lose to Houston.
The Yankees will lose to Houston. Will the Orioles make it 3.5 games out of the wild card? Will they pull it off and make the playoffs?
Yes.
Yes, huh?
You know why? I'm going to tell you why.
Yes. Wow. They're going to beat out Boston. They're going to beat out, huh?
They play better competition every single day.
They do. They're in the AL East, man. They're in the AL East. The AL East is the best division in baseball, hands down. They just are.
Yeah, I agree.
The best division in baseball, man. The Baltimore Orioles, I am pulling for them. I want them to make the playoffs because they used to be right. They were one of the teams that were always playing the Yankees in the 90s. They were like there. They were there. So I'm pulling for them also. But we're saying now they're going to beat out Boston and they're going to beat out the Mariners and all these teams to make the playoffs. That would be something else, man.
Yes, but don't say
Tampa Bay right now is leading the wild card. Tampa Bay's game and a half up in the wild card, I believe.
The Mariners 14-game winning streak. And remember, they paid a lot of money for this team that was underperforming the beginning of the season. But, they caught up 14 games. That's impressive, regardless of what it is. Impressive.
They gave the Mets a hard time a month ago. That's when they were starting to turn it around.
We can't even win 4 in a row.
Brother, this was fun. As usual, man, we're going to come back on again later this week. We're going to have a set schedule soon. We really are.
Wait, John. One thing. You know what Pete Alonso's going to do on Monday?
What?
He's going to three-peat. He's going to three-peat the home run derby. The only person that's ever done that, I think, has been Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, wow. I'm going to be watching, man. We're going to be watching. Yep, we got it, man. So we're going to be on again this week. We'll be on we'll do our
Wednesday.
next topics.
Tuesday and Wednesday.
We have to start getting into the NFL previews, man. NFL's already training camps are starting end of the month, man. We got to start doing predictions and we got to start talking about the football, man. We got to start talking about the Jets phonies. Are they actually going to translate their great draft to the field?
What about Baker Mayfield going to the Jaguars?
Yeah, Jaguars, Panthers.
Not Jaguar. The Panthers.
Panthers. Isn't that funny?
Sorry, hold on.
Don't worry, Kevin Nash. You're good. You're good, Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash, the wrestler. Look, guys,
that's what you call Steve Nash, Kevin Nash. Oh, that's funny.
That's like this man telling me that Kyle Drexler didn't win a championship with Houston. But anyway, we're not stats freaks.
Right.
We make mistakes. We're you. Because I know you make mistakes when you argue with people. And we own them here.
I made mistakes on this channel, man. It happens, man. We're fans. We're diehard fans talking to diehard fans. And that's what it is. We're not pros. If you want to watch pros, they'd be watching TV. They wouldn't be watching us.
Go watch ESPN. Go watch ESPN. Don't watch us.
A lot of them is scripted. This isn't scripted. All we do is call you on. Yeah, I'm on, man. I hope they don't see us talking before I go on because when
John, so they don't think that I have anything here. Watch this. So you know that I'm real. Hold on. Let me see. Look, let me see if you can see. Oh. Look what I got. There is nothing here. There's no computer here. Look, there's a pots and pans that I've been cleaning. Look. That's where I'm at. I have no paper. I have nothing. This is what we do. We do it for fun. We do it for you guys. Fans talking to fans.
Look how cheap. I mean, look at this, man. I hang a different jersey, and there was one video I was doing. The thing fell down.
That's
jersey fell down in the middle of it. Because everything I got behind here is all glares. It's all the lights glare off everything back there. It's annoying.
My girlfriend was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm cleaning my office." And she goes like, "What do you mean your office? Look at my office right here. Look, the table. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing here. I go off the top of the head. I make mistakes. But at the end of the day, fans talking to fans. I love you guys. I know you love John. John loves me. We're here for you guys, and we're gonna keep it real, 100%.
Keep it real. We'll be back on Wednesday. We'll talk during the week about what the hell that's going to be about. But whatever, it's everything going on.
Mentality, baby.
That's the basement mentality. Subscribe, like, bell notice, comment. Tell us we're good. Tell us we sucked. Whatever.
Also, no. Even see, give us a comment of what you want us to talk about. We'll talk about it
that too. That too. We got everything.
It's all about you guys. It's all about you.
We're out.
Let's go Mets, baby.